ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Broadway Podcast Network's coverage of Stereophonic opening at the Golden Theater. We're going to have the cast and the creatives with you. My name is Robert Bannon. I'm the host of the Roundtable, and I'm excited to be here on the red carpet to talk to this incredible cast and creative team. This show came from a sold-out run and now makes its way to Broadway in time for this jam-packed season. The cast and creatives are all going to be here to talk about this epic play that tells an epic tale of a band. Oh my goodness, a 70s rock band in a recording studio. What could possibly go wrong? We bring you Stereophonic right here on the Broadway Podcast Network.
Hi, I'm David Adjmi.
The playwright of the show. So how did the idea come to you? It's an epic tale. It's brilliant. How did the idea come to you and you put it to paper?
Well, I like to say I don't get ideas, I just get a weird intuition. And I had been listening to a Led Zeppelin song on the plane, and as I was listening, because I was trapped on the plane, I started getting imaginative and having a flight of fancy and imagining the singer singing the vocals in the studio, because the vocals were incredibly wild and filled with contradictory, passionate emotions. And there's just something about that vocal that made me imagine the singer in the studio and imagine what the studio was like as an environment. And then something snapped into place, and I didn't know how I would make it a play, but I sort of had this very strong feeling that it could be a play, and that I could use that environment as a dramatic landscape, almost like an installation. Like, think of it as like a sound installation, and then interpolate drama into that.
Woo, and that you did. Did you surround yourself with inspiring, are you somebody who needs inspiration? Is it music? Is it a look? Is it pictures on the wall? Or do you just let your imagination run wild?
I watch a ton of documentaries. Some of them are really cheesy, like VH1 documentaries. Yeah. I read a couple of books. I don't like to bog myself down with too much research because I don't want the play to feel researched. But what I did was, I'd steal phrases from, the little bits and pieces from documentaries that sounded legit, and then I would, bring it to a sound engineer. I would see if I could, make it work in a scene, and then he'd go, "What are you talking about?" And then he'd sort of, set me straight. And so I worked a lot with sound engineers, one in particular, John Kilgore, who's quite well known, and worked with Philip Glass and Steve Reich, and he was super, super helpful in terms of getting very exact about what this analog 1970s sound recording world was like, because I have no exposure to it whatsoever.
Oh, it's so fascinating. The creating art is in stages. You created it, you shopped it around, you got it up on Playwrights. Then to come to Broadway, this is a decade-long project. How do you look back on this and see all of the different milestones and it kept changing and evolving?
Honestly, I blocked a lot out because it was so grueling and exhausting to make it. It was hard to do it, and the phases were difficult. I adored working with my collaborators, but I had to just put one foot in front of the other. It was almost like, okay, I have to survive this process, so I can't quite think about what I'm doing because it's so overwhelming. So I don't like to think back, and I can't even remember, what was I doing in 2015? I have no memory of it. It's kind of amazing, but that's how I protected myself.
Yes.
That's how I got to the end.
I completely get it. Do you have a classic rock band that's a go-to band?
Well, I love Led Zeppelin, but I love all of them. I love Heart in particular. I adore Ann and Nancy. If you're watching Ann and Nancy,
see the show. Ann's voice and Nancy's song, all of them, amazing.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Congratulations.
Thank you
Welcome
so much.
to Broadway. Your show is here, and we wish you the best run. Congrats.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Will Butler, and I wrote the music for the play Stereophonic.
And he's got Grammys and platinum albums and the whole shebang, Will Butler.
I even lost an Oscar once.
You sure did lose an Oscar. That's a lot more than I've lost an Oscar. Well, I haven't been nominated, but we were them.
Me and John Williams, we lost Oscars together. It was great. It was a great experience.
That's some good company to have. Well, I want to let you know that when you came up, we love this show. This show is something very sweet. How did it first come to you? When did you first read it and say, I could write music to this?
10 years ago, 9.5 years ago, I met David randomly through a friend of a friend. We had dinner at the Westway Diner on 9th Avenue in Manhattan. And we talked about Moby Dick, and we liked each other, and he hadn't written the play yet. He was like, do you want to work on this play that isn't written, and then I'm a total stranger to you? And I was like, I would. And then we worked on it for 10 years. I mean, he worked on it. He like poured his soul into it for 10 years, and I kind of popped in every once in a while. I was like, how's the play going, David? Here's an idea. And then for the last 5 years have been pretty whole hog, just heart and soul, like, let's make something real. And yeah.
And now you have a show on Broadway with your music.
It's absurd. It's like, no, Sarah Pidgeon was singing my song tonight, and I was like quietly weeping in row O, and I was like, what? They can't take this away from me. Like, this is
forever.
What a privilege. Sarah Pidgeon is singing my song. Like, I'm going to go eat an Italian sandwich. Like, how could I even top this?
Well, you're somebody who has a lot of music that is sung. You write music and you sing it.
Yeah.
What's it like to see actors sing your song, 8 shows a week?
I mean, when it's Tom Pecinka and Juliana Canfield and Sarah Pidgeon singing it, they're so beautiful. They're such good actors that they everything they do, they imbue it with such charisma and such emotion, and it makes you want to elevate the work too. Where I'm like bringing in new verses because I'm like, oh, now you've made the character, so now the song is worse than the character. So let's make the song as good as what you're doing, and it's just very inspiring. And also, again, and Chris Stack and Will Brill, like the whole band makes you want to create something worth their time.
The show is worth your time. Is there not you obviously, not any bands you've been a part of, but is there a band, a classic rock band that you just can't live without? Is there a go-to for inspiration?
Yes, there is.
And we're not gonna answer. All right.
No, the thing I've been listening to all the time, and I don't know if it's the right answer, but I've just been listening to Scratch Perry, like 70s Jamaican dub, because that's what the play is to me. It's just like cracking open the song and just seeing what emerges. And it might be weird, and it might be beautiful, and it might be funny, but just like take a song and just break it open and put some reverb on it. And I'm like...
That's why you have a show on Broadway. I'm like rocking out to Barry Manilow in my car,
Barry Manilow's great. I would rock out to Barry Manilow on the F train.
I also listen to the Suburbs on my way here too. I'm from the suburbs. You give inspiration.
Yeah. No, that's a good one.
Break all the legs. Welcome to Broadway.
Break all the legs.
Break them all.
Break them all.
Thank you. Congrats.
Thank
really
you.
nice
Cheers.
to meet you.
Sure. My name's Daniel Aukin. I'm the director of David Adjmi's Stereophonic.
And Obie Award winner here too.
Yes, I won several Obie Awards as well.
So what is it like to when did this show first come to your life? When did you read it for the first time?
Actually, it first came to light in 2014 when the playwright said, if I write this play, which he hadn't written, will you direct it? And I said, yes. And that's not how things usually go. But it was such a good idea, and I knew what a talented playwright he was, that I was excited to see where it would lead. And 10 years later, here we are.
When you first started this process, it was obviously a Playwrights, it was off Broadway. Was the sights always to get it to Broadway? Is that always the goal, or you were taken aback? I
mean, we all thought we were making something special, and we had no way of knowing how many other people would feel the same way. But it wasn't totally a surprise that other people thought it was special. But I've made lots of things that I think are special that aren't as popular as this. So it's certainly a delight.
And what can you say about this cast? They seem pretty tight-knit. You must have had a great rehearsal space because they seem like a real band. They're a family up there.
We worked really hard to create a really warm room to work in, and they had to work incredibly hard musically. And I just think over time that trust built, and it shows up on their work on stage.
Absolutely. Is there a classic band that you jam out to that you can't live without?
The Cure, which is much later, but that's my era.
I get it. That's a good answer. That's a fun answer. Well, welcome to Broadway. Congratulations. Have an amazing run, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name's Will Brill, and I play Reg in Stereophonic.
And this is not your first Broadway show.
It's not, baby. This is my fourth Broadway show.
But this is not Oklahoma.
No, it sure isn't. There is a lot of music and a lot of sex, but it is not Oklahoma.
You say a lot of text. I heard the script is what, 203?
220 pages. It's a lot. And it's in columns, and it's like in bold and italics and quotes, and it's really wild.
So if I took your script and I looked at it, is there notes? Is there highlights? Like, what's your vibe? What's your script? What's your documenting?
There are some doodles.
Okay.
There is a lot of highlighting. There are a few notes, and I wonder, honestly, how those translate. I wonder if they make any sense. I haven't looked at my script in a long time. It's all experiential now.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's the best part. It's free. What can you say about the rest of this cast? What can you say about this band?
Heathens, all of them. No, they're really sweet people. It's a lot of like puppy dogs around. Like, I don't know if you talked to Tom Pecinka already, but he plays like the meanest guy, and he is literally a human puppy. I wonder if he's going to get mad that I said that.
No, I think that's nice.
He's like the best. It's like they're such good people. They're such sweet people. And it's really wild because we're doing something that is so difficult that we are not afforded a lot of time to like really hang with each other and like bond in that way. And so it is a lot of like grabbing each other and saying like, we all see the fire that is surrounding us. Let's like band together. And, that's very special. It's really cool.
And it shows on stage.
Oh, good.
And are you like the old goat of the group? Are they
That's
like
right.
the ones they come to you like, I've done Broadway before, kids. Don't you worry.
Yeah, it is exactly. Well, it's really interesting. They were like, oh man, we're going to go to like the big house. And like, what's it going to be like? And I'm like, well, the bathrooms are trash. Like everything is old. Like the walls are falling in on you. But that's the magic, baby. Like those are the ghosts. That's where the ghosts come out of. No, but it is like, it's so much history and it is so magical. But it's also like, there's a lot to contend with in these old buildings. And it's a lot of the things that like people don't tell you when you like first go to Broadway, you know?
And that's what they got you.
That's right.
Is there a band that is your go-to band that you get inspiration from?
Oh gosh. I mean, right now, yeah, if I need to like really like go to an emotional place right now, it is like Muna that I'm listening to a lot of. And then who else is like, Sufjan Stevens is like top of my list right now. Those are the people who I'm really like living with currently.
I'm a little obsessed with Will. If you're listening to us on the podcast network, he's got makeup, he's beat down, he is giving all the energy.
Come on, girl. We gotta look good. It's Broadway, baby.
It's Broadway, baby.
I have a Gucci dress on. I've
You have
never
a
been this
Gucci
fabulous
dress
in
on.
my life.
And this is only the beginning. Enjoy
That's
this
it.
crazy
That's
ride.
it.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I'm Juliana Canfield, and I play Holly in Stereophonic.
And this is your Broadway debut.
It is.
How do you feel, Yale graduate on the Broadway?
It's surreal. It's lovely, and the audiences have been so welcoming. But if I zoom back any amount, I get quite overwhelmed and very verklempt.
I'm sure it's a lot to take in. Your
Yeah.
career, from Succession to the theater that you've done, I mean, some pretty big projects. But at the heart of this show, was it about a family? Is it about music?
I think it's about art, and I think it's about love, and it's about life, man.
Yes, I love that answer. Do you remember where you were when you found out that you were transferring to Broadway, that you guys had a house?
Yeah, we were all in the theater. We were about to do a show, and our producers, Sue and John and Greg, came in, and they brought the whole cast onto the stage and the crew, and they said, listen, this is what we're going to do. And it was it's like seared in my mind, mostly because Chris Stack, who's like a full-grown man, like immediately burst into tears. And I was like, oh my God, you're crying? But yeah, I was right there with him.
Absolutely. I just think when I see people that went to school, and you went to school for this, like the amount of monologues, the amount of auditions, the amount of dreams of the moment.
Yeah.
And it happened tonight.
It did. And in a way that was like better and more bespoke than I ever could have dreamt. I mean, getting to do a new play with this cast after we'd all done it together, and to feel the sort of family that we became, that got to graduate to this together, that was so special.
Do you have a band that gives you inspiration? Do you have a classic rock moment?
I love Fleetwood Mac, and I'm not just saying that, but they're great. Rumors is a great album.
Agreed. No notes.
You know? No notes,
No
exactly.
notes here. Thank you. Happy Broadway debut. Break
Thank you
legs.
so
Have
much.
an amazing run. Congratulations.
I'm Andrew R. Butler.
Andrew R. Butler, you just made your Broadway debut.
I did. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
It's got to be a journey. Do you think back of like monologues and auditions and school? What's it like to now finally take the leap to Broadway?
Oh, I mean, it's a thrill, and getting to do it in a show that started off Broadway and got a lot of great support from Playwrights Horizons and then a beautiful reception, and then turning around and taking the show to Broadway so quickly after feels honestly like cheating. You know, it's like we knew the show, the set was almost like it was the same dimensions from Playwrights to the Golden. So we really got to bring the show with us and just like deepen and adjust and tighten things. So it's my back's to the audience a lot of the show. It's sort of like I could be back at Playwrights. I could be sort of anywhere. We've got great continuity between off and on Broadway.
But you guys as a cast and as an ensemble, do you get lost in the story? Are you up there paying attention to it? You are very connected with the other artists on stage.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, we do really get lost in each other. And I mean, the play's 3 hours long. So we definitely have time to kind of, get lost in the weeds in each other's eyes or in, the bits and moments before we get swept off stage for a few minutes.
Yeah, you're a musician yourself as well.
I am, yeah. I'm a songwriter and a musical theater composer also.
So we can find music. Do we get to like stalk you on the Instagram or?
Yeah, stalk me on the Instagram. You can check out the cast album for my show that was up a few years ago at Ars Nova.
Oh, then done. We're doing it. Yeah. And I loved seeing you on Girls 5 Ever. That was that was a fun moment. It was super fun and a super fun show. So congratulations on everything. If you were about to, we're asking everyone, what is a classic rock band that you can't live without? Who's your go-to?
Oh man, a classic rock band that I can't live without. I feel like I can't say Fleetwood Mac because it's so close to like the heart of the show. But that would normally be, honestly, probably my go-to like classic rock. Like I go back to Rumors over and over again, and it's just gotten better / worse since starting this project because it's like more like obsessive and weirdly personal now.
I don't blame you. That's a damn good choice if you ask me. Happy Broadway debut. Have an amazing run. Congratulations.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Sarah Pidgeon, and I play Diana in Stereophonic.
And let me tell you, if you're listening to this as a podcast, if you're not watching us today, Sarah is done in Chanel from head to toe, and I'm obsessed with this outfit.
Thank you.
Come on, opening night.
They're like super chic pajamas.
They look so good. And the shoes.
you.
I peeked the shoes.
Yeah. I've got a little point. I'm loving it. It's so comfortable.
I am loving it. Looks for days. Well, congratulations. Happy Broadway debut.
Thank you. It's very surreal. I feel really, really lucky. Yeah.
Carnegie Mellon.
Yes, Tartan Pride.
You escaped Pittsburgh and now you're on Broadway.
Yeah, there's actually another CMU grad in this show, Will Brill. He's also from CMU. Oh, sorry. So that has really warmed my heart, I think, to know. It's like a very full circle moment, I think, in a lot of ways. But yeah, I feel very grateful for all my teachers there that I think really helped me make this dream possible.
When you look back at those days in school and now a script that's 220 pages and this epic tale, do you use those tools? Is the things that you've learned, what is your process to get this script in your body?
In my body? Yeah, I think I definitely rely on the stuff that I learned in school. I think just the idea of 6 days a week, we were up 8 a.m. in class working, and I think the rigor, maybe helped me prepare for this type of project, but I think if anything, it really instilled my love and passion to do this thing, and I think at the end of the day, that's sort of what it came down to, at least for me. I'm just sort of count my lucky stars all the time. I can't really believe it's happening.
Oh, and it has happened. What can you say about working with this incredible cast? You guys are such a tight-knit ensemble up there.
Oh my God. Yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world. I mean, everyone, there's not a single person that I'm not excited to see when I walk into the theater. They're the people that know me the best at this point right now. I've seen them, apart from that little hiatus that we had between Off-Broadway and Broadway, they saw me every single day. They knew what was going on in my life. They knew when I was sick. They knew when I was just in a crappy mood. They know me very intimately, and I just sort of trust them with my life. And on that stage, things happen, things go wrong all the time. And we've just sort of created this web where if something happens, then, there's just this innate trust that, sorry, I'm clapping right into the microphone, that we'll catch each other, so.
And that's what's beautiful. That's what art is all about, and artistry and working together. Do you have a go-to inspirational band? Is there a rock band or a classic rock band that...
Oh, I mean, there's an obvious one, I think, which I won't name. But I'm into a lot of new artists. I listen to a lot of new music. I love Ethel Cain. I think she can sort of do no wrong. And yeah, I don't know if there's like someone that I'm really looking to for inspiration, but I just love when new music comes my way. And, Chapel Roan, she's also amazing. Do you listen?
I do.
Oh, it's just
but
like
you all
so
keep
theatrical.
Me young. But that's what I love.
Yeah, it's so, I think that's what's so exciting about it. Like I feel, I don't know, I'm just constantly looking to a new
Same.
listen. So.
Yes, same. Well, if you're looking for a new show to come down and see, it's on Broadway. It's The Golden and Stereophonic. And congratulations. Have an amazing run. Welcome to Broadway.
Very special. Thank you. Really happy to be here.
Yeah, hi, I'm Tom Pecinka. I play Peter in Stereophonic.
Happy Broadway debut.
Thank you so much.
You're a Yale graduate.
I am indeed. Yes.
So when you think back of those Connecticut nights, learning monologues.
Well, I still live in Connecticut, actually. I don't live in New Haven, but I live up in Connecticut, yeah. So I still have a lot of Connecticut nights, most Connecticut nights. But yeah, I mean, Yale was an amazing place to train, and it was a safe place where I could do a lot of great work, and it really prepared me for what I'm doing right now.
And this journey from off-Broadway to now at the Golden, what's it been like to work with this cast? It's a very intimate, tight group of people. It comes across that way from the audience.
Yeah, I mean, everyone always says this, I've done some interviews where people are like, well, you're in a fake band. And I'm like, no, I'm in a real band, And it's been so different to get to know these people, not only as fellow actors, but also as bandmates, and play with them every night. And you listen in a different way. You feel each other in a different way. So that's been great. And I really do. I love them. I mean, we quibble about things, but definitely not as far as we go in the play. Thank God.
That makes a good band. That's how good music is made. I'm ready for the original album when you all get together after this. If you were to have a band that you love, a classic rock band that you can't live without, is there one that comes to mind?
Doing the show introduced me to so many bands from the 70s. And the Allman Brothers Band, actually Dickie Betts just passed away yesterday, rest in peace. But the Allman Brothers Band was an amazing discovery, and I listen to them all the time.
You'll never buy a peach the same way after you listen to the Allman Brothers.
That's right.
That's the truth.
That is the truth.
Well, this show people have to come down and see it. I wish you the best run. Happy Broadway opening, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name's Eli Gelb. I play Grover in Stereophonic.
And he's making his Broadway debut.
I sure am, along with six out of 7 others in the cast.
And I have a lot of notes, and you know what my notes said to summarize you?
Okay.
A lot of off-Broadway and regional credits, like a lot.
Oh, is that true? I don't even know. I feel like
it's
I've done like 4 plays, but
we're gonna pull up Wikipedia right now.
I did Skin Tight at Roundabout. We did it at the Geffen about a year after that. What else do I have on
That's
there?
a lot more than we have.
Oh, yeah. I also the North Pool at Cincinnati Playhouse in the Park, 27th Man. I did at the Old Globe.
See, you're selling yourself short here. Don't sell yourself short.
Well, I feel like we've got it's a track record I'm proud of. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
And now you're on Broadway.
I sure am, in my favorite play ever, perhaps.
What was it like to read this and then hear the music?
To read it first? Well, I'll say the first time I read it was maybe it was 2020, and it was the audition was the day before the pandemic shut down, which is a big thing. It was also one of those next day auditions, so 220 something pages. I kind of had to skim it, and that made me sad because I was loving it, but I was I don't know, I just gotta figure out what this is. And then I was I think I love this thing, but I'll have to read it again. And it turns out I was right. It's my favorite play ever.
Well, you ended up having plenty of time to read it.
I sure did. Yeah, and no, I did. I cracked it open again in the middle of the pandemic, and it resonated for me in so many, it just resonated so deeply in terms of like the themes of sort of isolation and togetherness, making something together, needing each other, tearing each other apart. Kind of very pandemic-y.
Very.
Yeah.
And universal for everyone. It's not just
absolutely. No, pandemic or not, this is absolutely an existential epic of a play. And so it's such an honor also to do it in the theater that premiered Waiting for Godot, another existential epic of sorts. Although sort of not an epic in the same way, very stripped down. But this is a whole spectacle. This one.
It sure is, and people need to come on down to the Golden and see it. I can't wait for people to see it and wait to this ride you guys are about to take.
Oh, man. Well, it's such a joy. It's been such a great experience, and everyone involved is just so fantastic to work with.
Do you have a go-to classic rock band that you listen to that helps inspire you?
I'm gonna try to think. Oh, I've been listening to a lot of T-Rex lately.
Okay.
Like original glam rock guy, Mark Bolan. Recently, Black Sabbath is. I'm getting into Black Sabbath vibe. Dark Side of the Moon is one of my favorite albums. It's kind of boring favorite album, but it's great.
Classic.
Yeah.
Iconic.
Yeah, it's really good.
You can't beat it.
You can't.
Look, this is the coolest cast I've ever talked to because your answers are really good.
Thank you.
They're good answers. So
Thanks. I'm curious what other people said, but you can tell me
Clash,
later.
We got Led Zeppelin. You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Happy Broadway debut. Have an
Thank you so
amazing
much.
run.
Thank you.
Very
Good
nice
talking to
meet
you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Do you mind introducing yourself?
I would not.
Thank you so much.
I'm Sarah Pidgeon. I'm playing Diana.
So you look so different off stage.
Yeah, it's transformative, isn't it?
That's a good hair and makeup
It's
team.
amazing wigs. Enver did an incredible job with the wardrobe to make that A-line skirt fit my... I don't even know what an A-line skirt is. I just heard that once.
Well, Chris Stack.
Yes, sir.
Well, happy Broadway debut.
Thank you. Thank you.
How does it
so nice.
feel?
It's fabulous. It's fabulous. I'm kind of... I'm not exhilarated anymore. I'm kind of coasting on good energy. It's good vibes.
Do you remember where you were when you got the call when someone said, "Hey, we're going to the Golden. We're going to Broadway"?
Yeah. I mean, we were on the stage. We were on the stage at Playwrights Horizons when John and Sue and Greg showed up and told us "Hey, this is what we want to do." That was a moment like the first preview was, like tonight was, where just, as a guy who's been in New York for 25 years, I'll never forget the first time I was told that this play I love so much is going to Broadway, and then the first time I actually did a show on Broadway, and then my first Broadway opening. I mean, they're just epic.
I'm sure there's a lot of memories of a lot of auditions, a lot of monologues, a lot of almost coulda, woulda, shoulda, and now it's done. You did it.
Yeah.
What can you say about the rest of this cast? You guys are you're a band.
We're a band. We're a band, and we started off as a band of actors, and we became a band of musicians and a band of friends, and I feel very there are wonderful things. It's we get along in all of the perfect ways, and then we offer up all of these things of ourselves to create the friction on stage. And everybody is incredibly generous and very skillful and very loving and very playful. And it just creates this texture in this piece that makes it incredibly rich to relive again and again and again, 8 nights a week.
And that's why it flies by. The runtime. Don't be intimidated by the runtime. It flies by.
Yeah, good. That's what they tell me. I mean, it doesn't feel like 3 hours when you're doing it, but obviously when you're sitting in a chair watching somebody else do it, it can feel differently. But I've heard tell.
I can attest.
Good.
Do you have a classic rock band that you can't live without? Do you have a go-to?
Oh my! All of my bands are classic rock bands, but I can't. I'm trying to think of. I mean, there are a bunch of new bands that I like, but the original Van Halen with David Lee Roth years.
Yes.
I'm a huge Grateful Dead fan. The Clash. I mean, a lot of the. And then who I've been revisiting recently is Talk.
Okay. Yeah.
Fabulous. I feel like we could stand here for a long time and
I
go.
love it.
On my radio, driving to school every day was Q95 in Indianapolis, the classic rock station.
Classic rock raises you.
Yeah, and
It
so
does.
to be here, like these are the guys who I was listening to on the radio. Free. I mean, it was never a huge. Well, I won't say who I'm not a fan of.
That's my
silly.
favorite. That's
But,
the juicy
yeah,
part.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, there are a bunch of bands from that era who I don't care for, but even the bands who I don't care for, there's just a thing about big bands in the 70s. And a lot of my favorite bands from the 70s were smaller bands from the 70s too, but like the big bands from the 70s, like when rock became a big thing, like when Led Zeppelin was a thing and like the Stones in the early 70s, like it's just rock and roll. Jesus. Yeah.
It's just rock and roll, everyone.
Rock and roll.
Happy Broadway debut. Have an amazing run. Enjoy every second.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm Justin Craig, the musical director of Stereophonic.
Super fun. What a beautiful piece of work. What is it like? It's a play with music. So what do you do differently as the music director than, say, a musical?
Well, this is the first time I've ever music directed anything that I wasn't playing an instrument or band leading or conducting or whatever. So it was a new frontier for me. Just very different experience and really fun to work with these actors and build this band. I kind of felt like I was producing a band rather than like MDing a show. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
What has it been like in the process to be in the room, to take this show off Broadway and now to be at the Golden, to be on Broadway? How's this journey been for you?
I mean, it's just very exciting. I mean, the show, it hasn't changed all that much, really. I mean, it's a new space. It's a bigger space. It's 4 times the amount of people that we're playing in front of. So it feels like we're just playing like a bigger concert now. You know, it's really fun.
Absolutely. And you did the orchestrations as well.
Yeah, with Will Butler.
So talented. Come on, talented people. Do you have like an homage? Do you have a favorite classic rock band? Is there one that you were on a desert island that you would want to take a record with?
I mean, desert island, I'd probably have to say the Beatles, just because I grew up with it, and there's just so many songs that I love of theirs. And
I mean, it doesn't get better than that. Can we listen to your music?
I mean, I don't have a band, and I haven't released music under my name, but I do lots of producing of other artists and things like that. So,
all right, so we're gonna have to Google search and find out all of the work that you've done, and then come on down and see the show. Happy opening. Have an amazing run.
Thank you so much.